Hi, and welcome to CyberOne Certification and Training. If you're here for the certification program, there is no exercise at the end of this segment. This training video is for information purposes only. And if you're here for training or support, but you're interested in learning more about certification and how you can become certified as a CyberOne expert, then reach out to your account manager or just shoot us an email at support@cb1security.com. Great, so let's get started. Today we're in the compliance management training segment, and we're going to be taking a look at the control activity record in the system and show you how to create and connect a control activity record. Okay, so let's just go to our workflow diagram for a second. So as you can see, our control activities are the test plans that kick off the compliance workflow. So once we've got our targets uploaded into the system and/or we've created our internal control sets and connected those to our policies and control library, then we can create control activities with test plans for guidance and begin to send out document requests for evidence collection to build out our compliance process. So let's go into the management platform and take a look at that. So here we are in our management platform, and we're going to go to our compliance management module and just open the control activities section. So again, control activities, if you have already established sets of control activities in spreadsheets, if you were previously working in spreadsheets, what we can do is we can upload those from a CSV file. And the way we do that, if I just click on the activity, the control activity record, we just want to match these fields in the spreadsheet, and you can perform an upload through the data loader. And we've shown you how to do that in previous trainings, and specifically to compliance, we showed you this in the second training module in our compliance section, uploading content. So for more information on doing a bulk upload, you can contact support@cb1security at any time as well. Otherwise here, this is where we would create our control activity. So we just want to type in all of the fields here. So we'll just keep it at high level. Or let's choose a policy, perhaps. So this is maybe what we're testing for. We're looking for the change management policy, and we want to make sure that it's up to date and approved by management. Let's see, let's say maybe it's for our SOC 2 audit. And there we can establish the control frequency, so we can use and reuse these control activities, of course, once they're in the system. And we can always modify these descriptions depending on whether they're for a different audit or what they are. So we can just keep them generic so that they're always the same. So this would probably be an annual control. And then what we want to do is establish the control owner. So this would be the risk manager, the person who's actually performing the control activity, or who'll be doing the self-assessment and compliance testing once the evidence has been collected. This is not the person who is providing the evidence. So we'll select ourselves. And then the next thing we want to do is to make sure that we select the asset. So this is what we're actually testing. So here we want to make sure that CyberOne platform has a change management policy attached to it, so we know how to make changes to the CyberOne platform. And then our content source, again, as we've shown you in previous trainings, is really so that you can track and find your control activity or control activity sets in the list view of the control activities tab. So I'm just going to create something so I'll know that this is part of my SOC audit. And then I can label this, if this is a key control, that it's fully implemented and in compliance. and I would label this one as a key control. And then I can add the implementation status, which if it's a key control, it must be fully implemented. I can look at the test frequency here. This is for guidance for the test procedures and say how often I'm going to test for this. And then the test plan is actually guidance for how we're going to test. Something along those lines. And then in the sample size rationale, this might be if we're testing a sample group to verify a large group of data. So this would be when we're doing a test on a selection of data to prove the whole, we can put the sample size rationale and any notes in there. And then finally, of course, any further guidance can go in here. Then once we click save, so now we see our control activity record has been created, and we can begin to build out the compliance process from here. So if we want to, we can map an internal control. If we want to map back to our policies or just to our internal control set, we can click new internal control here and then search for that internal control. We can either do a specific search here, or we can grab this is actually showing the latest selection of internal controls that I've been working with. But if you want to do a search in this field too, you can. And if you don't know exactly what you're searching for, a great way to do this is to close that out for a second and then just go to your internal controls tab and grab what you're looking for. Maybe just grab the content source. Again, this is why the content source can be important. Now you see if I do a search, sometimes you have to do all fields. It will grab that internal control for me, and it gives me a different selection here. So I'm going to grab 5.1 and save that. And so there you can see our internal control is now mapped to our control activity. And if I go into our internal control record, you can also see that the control activity is connected to that internal control record. So coming back to this, and then looking forward into the compliance review process, once we've created our control activity, and if we need to map it to our internal control, then we can start to build out the evidence by adding evidence from the evidence checklist and beginning the document request process. So that's how you create a control activity in CyberOne. And once again, you don't have to do this one record at a time. We can do a bulk upload of your existing controls from a CSV, or if they're in a system and you want us to pull them over, we can integrate with that system and pull all of your controls into CyberOne from there. So to do that, just contact support at cb1security.com or talk to your account manager and we'll get you set up. So that concludes our training for today. Thank you very much.